We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll go ahead and move on to roll call. Dr. Thomason.
President Reese, members of the board, please let the record show that we have all 5 board members present tonight.
The approval of the agenda. I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Any questions or comments regarding the agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We'll go on to the superintendent's report.
President Reese, members of the board, tonight we celebrate 2 of our schools, Gateway Point and Power Ranch Elementary. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Michelle Reese to start off with our awards recognitions. Michelle.
Thank you, Dr. Thomason. Governing board members, community, thank you for coming this evening. I'm excited to do our first Points of Pride of the school year. It's an opportunity for each of our schools to recognize special individuals on their campuses. So I'd first like to invite up Mr. Fountain.
I didn't know that we got to go first, so pressure's on now. Got to set the bar. All right, Dr. Thomason, President Reese, and members of the governing board, thank you for the opportunity to recognize some of our amazing staff members. It's always a bit of a challenge to come up with just one in each of these categories, but we have some wonderful people to represent our school tonight, and we look forward to recognizing them. So I believe we're going to start with our student point of pride.
Hi, I'm Miss Kimball. I was lucky enough to have Callie in my 4th grade class last year. I tried to keep her, but I wasn't allowed to, so. At Gateway Point, we have the Be Kind program, which has 10 tenets, and Callie consistently demonstrates those tenets each and every day. She's supportive of her classmates. Her words are always uplifting. She's also a great athlete, and she demonstrates honesty and respect when she's out on the field playing. She pushes herself so hard. She has a great growth mindset, and I can't think of anyone else who deserves this award more.
Go for something better than flowers, even. All right. Our point of pride for our volunteer. If you have attended any of the governing board meetings, you know who this person is because she's often here. And if she's not here, she's probably at our campus. She actually reminded us when we notified her of this award that we've given it to her before, which I think says a lot about the fact that she continues to contribute to our campus. I think one of the biggest things for me with this individual, she previously served as our PTO president, and anybody knows that having a great PTO is just such a wonderful asset. When you have someone who serves as your PTO president, finishes up the year and steps down, and continues to be a part of your PTO to support the next group of people, that's like a big thank you, because so often it's hard to get that next group going. and she was easily willing to step aside in that role and let somebody else take charge, but still be there as a support. You can often find her laminating on our campus, or maybe doing a nice bulletin board about spreading kindness like glitter. And so we're very thankful to have her support on campus, and that's Miss Jill Wilson. All right, we'll do it on the fly, change it up a little. All right, so I guess we're going to go to our teacher while we hopefully wait for our family to get here. What's all right? We'll tell a little joke here, so I'm just kidding. So our teacher nominee was recognized by our staff for the amazing work that they do on our campus. When you serve in an administrative role, sometimes one of the things that you miss, obviously, is being in the classroom and getting an opportunity to teach. And when you get to work with young teachers and you get to watch them develop and grow, you kind of get that teacher moment again. This teacher was, I believe, 1 year on campus when I started 4 years ago. And if you could be a part of seeing her development and growth the last 4 years, she's really grown into being an instructional leader on our campus. She attends professional development and brings that back to our teachers. She took on the challenge of being in our, our third grade accelerated class last year, which was brand new and kind of had to figure out some things on the fly, and did an amazing job. She brings so many things to our campus, including a positive attitude. So we're really pleased to honor Miss Angelina Alameda.
All right, so family's not here, but we're going to move on, and I will reiterate this to them at home. So I get the privilege of talking about Miss Jocelyn Curra in the office. She is a parapro on campus, and if I could clone her, I would clone her. She is absolutely amazing, and I don't use that word often. No matter what we need, she's right there with a smile on her face, and she's always moving 100 miles an hour because she has so many things to do. The kids love her. She's just so sweet and respectful and puts the kids first. Any classroom she goes into, she's in their classrooms. She works with the kiddos one-on-one and just really helps them be successful. And we are so grateful to have you as our Gator family, and we hope you stay with us forever. So come on up, Miss Jocelyn.
Absolutely.
They're coming. Do you want to recognize your family and say who's here?
My grandma and grandpa, my mom and dad, and my little sister, Kenzie.
My husband Ryan is here, and my son Jacob, and daughter Ella.
My mother is here, and so is my boyfriend.
Tonight, we also get to recognize the Power Branch Panthers Points of Pride. So if Mr. Chris Reuter would come up, please.
Thank you, Dr. Thomerson, President Reese, members of the board, community. Thank you so much for being here. We're very excited. Mr. Dutton already stopped making eye contact with me, which is great because he doesn't necessarily, well, he loves the attention, but not like this. So we're going to start with Aaron Dutton. Come on up, handsome. Let's go get this party started. I want him next to me while I say these nice words because we often joke with one another. Aaron Dutton is our PE teacher at Power Ranch, and he lives every day to make connections with kids. So that's the number one reason that he's up here. He does what he does for the students. And beyond that, the things that he does outside of the gym really impact our campus. I know we do have some students here who would probably say that when they see Mr. Dutton, he tries to build relationships with them, he gets to know them, he wants to connect with them, but then he helps keep them safe. And some of that's having Mr. Dutton to go to joke to about, to talk about sports, to make those connections outside of the gym. But he's really pushed himself this year to improve instruction in the gym and what takes place, and we're proud of him for that. And we just can't wait for the other things that are coming in the near future. So that's one piece. The second piece is that he's the person that we could go to on campus, the teacher that will go above and beyond last minute without necessarily the griping and the moaning, at least not to our faces. He might tell his colleagues over there, but he's working in the parking lot with us, keeping students safe during dismissal. He's helping out in the cafeteria. He's picking up the slack where we need it, and we're greatly appreciative of that because it's all about the kids, and we thank you for that. Heather Pelea. Heather. So Heather Pelea is our media tech. She works in our media center. And similar to Mr. Dutton, she extends what she does in the library and the media center outside of the library. And for that, that's why you're here, and you do it for the kids. Heather loves to take on different challenges and projects. She's very crafty. So this year, she's actually teaching an elective for our students in 1st and 2nd grade, and it is called Creative Hands, and the kids love it, and she really pushes herself to make sure that it's fun for the kids, even if it's a lot of work for her. And that's what she does throughout the day and everything that she does. So when there might be a prep time for them in the library, she's in the cafeteria supporting us. She sweats it out on the crosswalk in the streets, helping our students stay safe, and she's always smiling. And I know she has her own kids, but she definitely treats all of our other students on campus as if they were her own. She does it with a smile on her face. She pushes herself, and she communicates with us, the rest of her specials team, to see what else she could do. And we love you, and we thank you for that. I just want to add how hard this is. We go alphabetically, and Power Ranch is usually at the end of the year, and it's so hard at the beginning of the year, because as I look at my other staff members out here, it's always hard in the beginning to pick just a few people. It's always hard, but in the beginning, everyone's doing these things. These guys really exemplify what it means to be a Panther. So, Michelle Peterson is our volunteer, because she resigned from her crossing guard position last year, so we won't talk about that. So luckily, Mr. Fountain already talked about how important a PTO is, and when you have a strong PTO, Michelle Peterson is our PTO president. She has returned in that position, and prior to that, she was involved in PTO as a treasurer. She just, exemplifies what it means to put kids first and to lead an organization of parents who might have different perspectives and visions and insights, and did I say opinions yet? They have a few opinions. So And she just guides them and leads them and says, you know, well, does this impact students? Is this the best use of our funds? Is this the best use of our times? She thinks of things from a different perspective, and she just communicates with us. And I know her husband, Chris, will admit that sometimes she wears her emotions on her sleeve, but it's because she cares and she volunteers her time and she wants things to be done right. And even if that means that sometimes she'll be upset or sometimes she'll be overly excited or whatever that may be, she's willing to do that for us. And we're just really excited about all of the changes you've made and the changes we know that you'll make in the future. And I know we miss you on the corner of Ranch House in Spring. I'll continue to try and get you back with that stop sign, but we do. We appreciate you, and we wanted the community to know how special you are to us and that you can never leave. And I know that they all have their families with them, so they will be introducing them right after we have Jaden Morales come on up. So it was great. Dr. Thomason came to campus, and when we went into Miss Edwards' 6th grade science class, and he had the announcement to make, he was talking about the student first, and you see the kids waiting to see who it is. And when it was Jaden, Dr. Thomason announced his name, he's like, me? Yes, 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 yes. And, the me part, he was a little surprised, but he shouldn't be. I know 2 of your teachers are right there. And so they are just very impressed with Jaden. His maturity and his understanding of his sense of humor and when to draw the line. And sometimes kids often will cross that line a little bit. Jaden knows where that line is, but he uses it as a tool with his peers and for his peer status. So he's well respected by his peers, he's well liked, and because of this, he's a leader amongst our 6th graders. And he's not afraid to, you know, tiptoe on that line sometimes and challenge teachers and challenge his peers, but he does it in a way where all those people around him are benefiting because of him, because of you. And for that, we greatly appreciate you and your leadership, and we want you to continue doing things like this in 6th grade and throughout your school career. And don't go too far, because I'm going to start with you, if you'd like to introduce your mother.
Hi, Mom.
I have my husband, Chris, and my daughter, Aubrey.
I have my husband, David, my daughter, Kira, and my son, Alex.
I have my wife, Lindsay, who also teaches at Cortina. And then I have my beautiful daughter over there in 2nd grade, over there, Riley.
President Reese, members of the board, we'll now move on to upcoming events. And on Wednesday, September 26th, we do have a governing board meeting at 6 p.m., and it's going to be a work study. So if you're interested in the finances of the district and what we do with our bonds and our overrides, please show up for our meeting so you can see all the transparency we have within the Higley Unified School District. And any questions that you have, we'll be able to answer to you at that time in regards to our finances. And then October 1st to October 12th, we have our fall break, so there'll be no school. And then Wednesday, October 17th, we do have our Business Partners Breakfast at 7:30 a.m. You are all welcome to that. And then on Saturday, October 20th, we will have a governing board meeting retreat at 8 a.m. in the morning. So we're looking forward to that at that time. And that's all the upcoming events we have for the next month.
Thank you. We will go on, excuse me, to board comments. I just want to say that now that school is in full swing, there's lots of events going on. So I've been fortunate to attend several of them. I would also like to mention that just as we expect our teachers to continue to do professional development, people probably don't realize that it's an expectation of board members as well, that there is professional development for governing board members. And there was several of us that attended the ASBA Law Conference this last week. We want to thank Mr. Glover for kindly taking on the delegate assembly. So we appreciate that. That was also this past week. But it's always good to stay up on current issues, laws that change, so that we can get explanation and ideas of how new things should be implemented. So it was very educational, and I want to thank Mrs. Reach for sharing that with our governing board members who weren't able to attend. We're fortunate enough to be able to share the presentations. So I know that we got a lot of good information out of it, and thank you, Dr. Thomason, for taking your time to be there as well. And I look forward to working on some of those initiatives that we learned about. Mr. Glover?
Madam President. Dr. Thomason, I'll just give you time. If you wanted to mention the other thing we talked about or not, it's up to you, but it's just a reminder in case you didn't want to. All right. So I just want to congratulate, we had the Teacher of the Year banquet, and all very well deserved. I am always struck by how joyful and humble our greatest teachers are. And I just wanted to point out that 2 of our Teachers of the Year were media specialists, which says something to me about the value of a good media specialist that they bring to a school. And thank you once again to the superintendency, the cabinet, and the board for reinstating those positions. And then for my fellow board members, the ASBA Delegate Assembly on Saturday was an interesting exercise in democracy in action, for sure. Everything passed, usually about 90% or higher. I have all 7 pages of things if you want to see the actual percentages. There was a couple that were amended, but it was just sort of word changing. So everything passed. And thanks to Dr. Thomason for driving to that event too, so I didn't have to drive.
President Reese.
Mrs. Kaler?
Yes, the ASBA Law Conference was fascinating again this year. They put on such an amazing conference. Awesome motivational speakers that I would love if we could get them to come to Higley, but I think they're out of our budget. But anyways, amazing speakers, a lot of school safety, a lot of social media, all the things that are very, very much happening out in the world, they bring right down to our level and help us to guide us in those areas. So I was really thankful for that. I also want to thank everybody that helped put on the Teacher of the Year dinner. I did walk out with a principal, and he said to me as we were leaving, Mrs. Kaler, if there's anything that we ever get rid of, don't let it be this. And so I thought that was great, and I will always do my best to keep that going. So again, thanks to everybody that put that on that night.
And I just want to clarify, because anyone who's sitting here or who ends up watching this going, wait, you're talking about the Teacher of the Year dinner, and we're September. So we had to postpone our Teacher of the Year dinner last year because we weren't in session at the time that it was scheduled, and we did not want to forego that celebration because it is important. And so these are our 2017-18 Teachers of the Year. So if people are kind of confused going, why are we doing Teacher of the Year? And it's September, and that's why, is because we did celebrate it. It was later, but we did feel it was important not to full-on cancel it, but just postpone it until we were able to do so. All right, any other board comments? No. I just wanted to add one more item, and I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir, at least the ones that are sitting here, but hopefully we have members of our public who watch this, maybe, but there is a lot of good information that's coming out through the Higley app, and we have a lot of events, and there's a lot of mental health events that are going on, whether it's within our district or with our neighbors, Chandler, Gilbert, Queen Creek. There is a lot of assistance and information out there for parents, whether it be for suicide, for drug use, for test anxiety. This is going on all around us, and I know we've had it in our school newsletters where they can have access to dates and times and places, what seminars are happening, what informational sessions are happening. So please, if anyone feels they need help and have nowhere to turn, I know it seems weird, but look for that information, have it available to you, have it know what's coming up in our community. We have a lot of events that between, like I said, the surrounding areas that can help with suicide prevention, with drug use, and those type of issues our teenagers face every day. So I want to thank Mrs. Reese for making sure those are getting on the push notifications. I want to thank our site admins for making sure it's on their newsletters. We will continue to do so and share that information. And if anyone needs assistance but doesn't know where to find that, call your school, call the district office, call somebody, and we can get you that information. So that's all I have on that. Thank you. All right, if there's no other board comments, we'll go on to request to speak to the governing board. Mrs. Reach, we have no requests. Okay, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. I move that we approve the consent agenda items with the information being added. Hold on. Let me find which one. 6.18. So we did get an updated list. So I just wanted to point that out. We do have the updated list in front of us. So I wanted to make sure my motion includes, excuse me, that we are approving the updated list before us with 6.18.
Second.
Any questions or comments regarding consent agenda items?
Madam President?
Mr. Glover.
Just a few things, and that my fellow colleagues can stop me. These are mostly just comments. 6.6, it's the Student Activities Fund report. I think Ms. Collis added a column with year-to-date revenues and expenditures. I found that to be helpful, and thank you. 6.7 is overnight out-of-state student travel. I just like to recognize that the dance clubs and the Williamsfield Band, wish them good luck, number one, and you know, when they travel, the teachers and the coaches are taking time out of their schedule, so I always like to acknowledge that. And the same thing goes for 6.8. Ms. Finn is giving up time for an overnight training. We appreciate it. 6.10 had that student wellness. I just don't think I have enough support to probably, unless you guys tell me otherwise, to remove the part that PE would count as a recess. So I'll let it pass, unless somebody says otherwise. 6.12, Ms. Martins, I guess I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but this is support staff assignments and transfers. I'm sure that you do this, but how often do we involuntarily sort of transfer? Do you have any sense of this?
In my tenure, we have not. I can't speak towards my tenure before.
Right, okay. And did you want to comment? All right, go ahead.
I did talk to Dr. Thomason about this very thing, and sometimes it happens specifically. Let's say we have a special ed student with a one-on-one aid, and then that student moves on. So that was the one example that Dr. Thomason gave me that kind of helped me understand that it's rare, but it does occur.
Yeah, and I know this, and I know you. I think I have a good sense of you as a person. When that does happen, it's always good to meet somebody face to face and give them that news, whether it be from the principal side or HR side. People appreciate that, and I know you know that. But and I think in the past at other places where I've worked, it's just been an email, and that's not very nice. Let's see. So, and 6.13 is just a policy, and it's just changing some of our non-standard certified teachers. I don't have any comments other than to say that I hope that that's a rare situation when we have non-standard certificates, because the value of having certified trained teachers is so important. I know we know that, and we're just changing the policy about that. And 6.18 is this list of the booster clubs that we have. I talked to Ms. Reach, and I think it would be helpful. So we have this list, and I just asked her if it would be okay if when things are added that the ones that have already been approved could just be moved down the page. So we're not wondering, well, what did such and such PTO already get approved? So we'll have a running list, and she thought that was okay, so I thank her for that. And then lastly, 6.19, thank you, Ms. Good, for taking my comments into consideration about transportation and vehicles. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I just wanted to also mention 6.6 as well with the Student Activities Fund. I know this has been an ongoing conversation between the board and the administration in the district office. I think it's something we'll continue to look at a little bit, and the information provided was very helpful. I still have some concerns, and I did speak to Dr. Thomason about that. And this is another part of the law conference that was very enlightening. So they did talk about booster clubs and PTOs, and so I'm sure that, because Dr. Thomason and I both attended that one, so I'm sure there'll be a little more discussion regarding student activity funds. The other thing was 6.14. I did also talk to Dr. Thomason about this, and Ms. Good, maybe you can clarify what's the part, I'm sorry, not 6.14, 6.15. I know you guys are trying to keep up with me. We're moving it all around. 6.15. What is the part about the number B, that each student in grades 4 through 6 shall recite the following passage from the Declaration of Independence for opening exercises and school programs?
That's something that was added to the statute. I've forgotten how many years ago, but it's been in the statute for quite some time. I don't know if everyone's doing it or not. I think it's something that many schools are overlooking. But it's nothing new, and it's nothing that's just in our policy. It's state statute.
So if I guess the example I used with Dr. Thomason is if 6th grade's having a little promotion ceremony for those who are going on, when they start, they need to recite this? Is that how I'm understanding that? Because it's talking about ceremonies.
No, that is to apply for regular school days.
So that is, they recite the Pledge of Allegiance,
Yeah,
and the Declaration of Independence?
well, that section.
Right, not
that-
the whole Declaration of
yes.
Independence, then that would take some
That
time.
might take a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I can talk to you more this about other schools afterwards if you'd like.
Okay,
Makes some sense.
awesome. Thank you.
President Reese?
Mrs. Kaver?
I just wanted to, again, I talked to Mrs. Martins at the ASBA Law Conference, but I just want to, again, just publicly thank you again for just how you've really come alongside of us, how you have really worked hard in your HR department. We're so thankful for you. I just heard that we were able to fill a math teacher spot that I know is hard to fill after the fact, and things happen, and I know you guys just work really hard back there for us, and I just want to, again, thank you.
Any other questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion carries 5-0. We will go on to 8.1. I move that we approve the agreement for the 2018-19 Master Terms and Agreement with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for Higley Unified School District to offer engineering dual enrollment credit.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr.
I
Ratovich.
do have a couple questions. As I was looking through the websites for Embry-Riddle, I see that we're the only school district in Arizona. I noticed a couple years ago there was a number of schools in the state of Arizona that became dual enrollment with Embry-Riddle, but apparently what happened a couple years ago is they went from Prescott to Florida and the Florida online program, and so it looks like we're the only school district now in Arizona that has this, and it looks like other school districts around the state have done other things. So I'm just kind of curious if why we're continuing on. Is this a matter of convenience that we're continuing with the program, or is there some questions that need to be addressed? And I was talking with a couple students the other day, and they were engineering students, and I couldn't find anything on our website about Embry-Riddle to show our engineering students. There's no explanation as far as our dual enrollment program or anything like that in reference to it. So I guess if somebody could educate me a little bit as to why we're doing this versus the other school districts have elected to go other options around the state. And, I guess that we could start with that.
President Reese, members of the board, I'd be happy to answer that question. For all students that attend the Higley Unified School District, we definitely want to give them as many opportunities as possible. We have had the request from some individuals that we include Embry-Riddle, and it is an option for students that are going to post-secondary education programs at Embry-Riddle to take classes to help them after they leave us. We also have programs with the Chandler Gilbert Community Colleges and the Maricopa Community Colleges. We have some dual enrollment programs with ASU. We have some dual enrollment programs with Grand Canyon University. So we have a lot of different offerings within our district for dual enrollment opportunities. At this time, I do not believe that we do have students taking advantage of this program, but we do have that available for students that would like to participate in the dual enrollment program with Embry-Riddle. And it's just another opportunity for our students and our families to gain college credit while they're within the Higley Unified School District.
So if we're going to approve this, are we going to be educating our community that this program's available? Because our students right now do not have any idea in reference that this program's available right now.
President Reese, members of the board, that is something that we do, and Embry-Riddle does come in and work with Higley High School specifically with their engineering program, and we do offer that and give that opportunity to those students within that classroom that offers the dual enrollment program. So each of those kids within that class are talked to about that, and our counselors go over with the students before they sign up for the classes to let them know what the opportunities are for dual enrollment within the community college setting, within the university setting.
In reference to the intro to engineering class, there's some requirements that require physics and some other levels of math. We don't offer that. As we're bringing our 9th, 8th, 9th graders into the program, they are not able to get into this program because of the math and physics requirements. So are we taking a look at this as far as if we're going to offer this program, our students aren't going to be able to get into it technically because they're lacking those prerequisites for that particular program?
President Reese, members of the board, at this time, that is beyond my knowledge, but I'll definitely get that information and put that in the superintendent's report for you guys to let you know what options we have for our students within the freshman year to get those physics programs and those other opportunities taken care of so they can earn dual enrollments.
Sure. I would just be, no problems with going with this, but I would just like to look into is why the other school districts around our state have done other options in reference to continuing their relationship with Embry-Riddle to look into what's taking place and what dialogue's taking place. So it's all in the best interest of our students that we're making the right choices in reference to dual enrollment for our students.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Witovich, so you're saying that other schools do not have dual enrollment with Embry-Riddle?
Correct.
Prescott, only Florida online?
Embry-Riddle, period, right now. A number of schools in the state at one time did with Prescott, but Prescott eliminated the dual program and chose to go with their worldwide online program through Florida branch. And at that time, that's when the other districts kind of did other options, and then we continued it with Embry-Riddle here.
So Mr. Sixkiller, correct, Mr. Sixkiller, he has a great relationship, I think, because of his connection with Embry-Riddle. He takes his engineering students up there to Prescott. So I do know that there's that connection up there. The Dean of Aviation up there has a teacher here at Williamsfield. Okay. He has his kids graduated. There is some personal connection, so I don't know if that's maybe why we continue this relationship, because I know that the dean from there had a really close relationship with people, and Mr. Sixkiller specifically. Sure. Now, I don't know, maybe Dr. Mallerwine would know this is being offered also through, because now we have the STEM diploma or engineering over at Williamsfield. Is this also being offered at Williamsfield, or is this specifically just for, well, it's Higley Unified School District, so I'm guessing both high schools have the option now with this, correct?
It had been only Higley High School, but then we hired Elise Krause when Mr. Tannenbaum came on. He hired Elise Krause, who also has the very similar relationship, and it was in place when I came into the role. And if one student, two students can take advantage of it, we can put them on a pathway. We kind of are trying to look to do as much as we can for one student or multiple students. So we didn't really think of why to maybe discontinue something that quite possibly could benefit a student when it doesn't really put a burden on us, because we have a teacher at both campuses that does have a relationship with Embry-Riddle.
And if I can just clarify, because Embry-Riddle is a very specific college. Is that correct? Like, they have a very specific program.
Yeah.
So this is really only through those engineering classes. So it's not something that just anyone's gonna, I mean, like you said, we don't currently have anyone at the moment, but it's something that is available through those engineering classes to help if that's the direction they want to go.
Yeah, it's a very specialized institution, and so it wouldn't be more than a handful of kids at best. But we like I said, we want to offer every opportunity for every student, no matter where they want to go. And it was in place, and so since it was in place and we had the relationship, I didn't see any reason why we shouldn't keep it in place.
Okay. Is there a cost to us in this?
No.
No. Thank you.
But President Reese, members of the board, there is a significant saving per credit for students within our school district that take dual enrollment classes there. They offer a $85 per credit discount for Higley Unified School Districts taking the online or taking the class through our districts.
And I know that the Embry-Riddle class per class is over $2,500 per class. So that's a huge savings for students that do end up doing this.
Any other questions? All right. Anyone else have any questions regarding it? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. All right, we move on now to our future agenda items. As Dr. Thomason talked about, on October 20th, we will be having our board evaluation, and we get evaluated too. So everyone has a copy of the evaluation to start thinking about filling out. Mrs. Reach also, they worked to make it very accessible for us. I don't want to say online, but through our computers where you don't have to handwrite it, you can type it. So we appreciate the formatting change because that is helpful. So over the next couple of weeks, if you could please review it, start getting some thoughts together, document your items, and we will have a lot of good discussion there. Any other future agenda items?
Madam President.
Mr. Glover?
Just probably for Ms. Martins, and this is end of the year, so we have those hard-to-fill stipends. Maybe summertime, I'm thinking, we want to revisit or just have an update in how did it work? Did we retain those teachers? That sort of thing, but that's months away, if it was, worthwhile or not.
President Reese, members of the board, certainly. I know I've already given some preliminary data to Dr. Schillingberg in regards to the numbers that we used and the areas that they were in, but we'll certainly make sure that we investigate and figure out, did that decipher, if we can, anecdotally or questions to these individuals.
Any other future agenda items? We have a couple that are being shown now that are already scheduled. Like Dr. Thomason said, if anyone wants to know about our finances, please join us on September 26th. Mr. Holland always does a great job explaining it. So, and then we have our follow-up IT presentation, AR, and I believe with that AR update is the same time we will be getting a review on the implementation of our ELA adoption. Is that correct?
That is correct, President Reese.
Okay. And that's in November. And we will be getting a update on Canvas as well. Anything else?
We had a presentation, Madam President, last year, I want to say right in December, from the guidance counselors about kind of depression awareness, suicide awareness, and I was wondering if the guidance counselors are involved at all in health awareness. It seems like vaping is becoming more of an issue, particularly with our student body. I don't know if the information is getting disseminated. I would just be interested to find out some feedback or presentation if that's available.
President Reese, members of the board, Mr. Thornock, would you like them to present on the presentations that we're having throughout the district and within the Southeast Valley, or we're talking something specifically about the Higley Unified School District and the follow-up from last year?
Either one, whatever is easier for the counselors.
I think it would be great if we did a full presentation on what we're doing for our student services and health services, and we'll do a full presentation on that. We'll put that, make sure that it gets on future agenda items for December.
Dr. Thomason, at that time, could we add, because I know we've had this discussion on what it would cost to add social workers to our high schools, what it's going to cost if we did add more counselors. I know that this is a conversation that we've beat our head against the wall with. I agree with you, Mr. Thornock. And I would love to see that part of maybe that presentation of the mental health awareness and what Higley does in this area.
I will definitely work with Mrs. Martins to get cost implications for hiring each of those individual positions within the elementary, middle, and high school.
Anything else? All right, with that, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Have a good evening.